Hey, a couple minutes late. There we go. So if you're there, if you're going to come in, I'll do a thumbs up again if you're on repeat or replay or whatever. Yeah, that my new top, the all-seeing eye. Look at that. See it? Whoa. Whoopsie. All-seeing eye. No, I don't want to see it. That's fine. Right. Anyway, right, thumbs up. We're good to go. Okay, so if you made it this far, awesome. If you didn't catch up, awesome. Just hit replay and let me know how you get on. Right. Ego. I personally would feel that there's a real misconception. When you let your ego run the show, one way of describing it is basically you are allowing your decisions to be influenced by your opinions of other people's opinions. So, for example, if you are keeping, okay, so if say you're driving down the road and you want to put some tunes on and you're worried that, what other people think if I put them on loudly? What does it matter? So a lot of it comes from, what does it matter what people think? Are they judging you? What does it matter? That's your ego talking. When somebody decides to give you an opinion, and other things come into it, but what is acting? So I'll finish that sentence. When someone gives you their opinion you didn't particularly like and it wasn't very nice, so like what did kids do it a lot, right? So my little girl said to me yesterday, you do know that I think you're a bit bloated, mummy. I think you're a bit bloated in your tummy. I'm like, all right, okay, cool. Does that bother you? I'm like, no, not really. That's your opinion and that's cool. If I'd been gone like, why would you say that to me? That's so, well, because it's not her opinion. She can say it out loud or not. That's fine. But that would be my ego would be the thing that would be reacting. It's like, well, she's free to say what she likes. I'm free to behave how I like. And if I want it to affect me, I can. And if I don't, I don't. But me saying to somebody what they're allowed to say and how they're allowed to act in my presence is my ego, isn't it? And do you know when you diminish your ego, when actually what other people do is what they're doing up to them, when you don't make it about you, when other people's behavior is actually about them, then all of a sudden your life doesn't, I say all of a sudden a lot, but it can be a gradual thing. It becomes very much easier when you're not affected by other people's behavior, because remember we all, as we know, our behavior and what things we do are all our stories, our beliefs and things. So if we're affected by other people's stories and beliefs, we're not acting out of authenticity and integrity, which is a huge thing. Now this is quite a big subject. That's why I cover it in a whole week of Life by Design. In week 5, we cover ego and boundaries, and it's a big group discussion on it because there is no definitive, I don't feel, for this. It needs to be discussed, and people have their own ways, and some people think they need to have the ego. I believe we don't. I believe our ego is purely there as fluff, and the more we can reduce our ego, the happier we will be and the more useful we are to humanity, I would say. So that's why it's so big. So for example, I couldn't have done this. I couldn't be doing this if I had a trumped up ego, because I would always worry, how many people are watching? How many people are going to buy it? How many people, what do they think of me? What do they think of me? Because if I had an ego, would be very tricky. But because I know what I need to do, and I know that whoever needs it will be there, my ego isn't about me. This is about what I have to give to the world. It's not about what the world can give to me. See what I mean? So right now, not one single person is live with me, and yet my life, I'm carrying on, aren't I? I'm not crippled. I'm not pained. I'm not embarrassed. I'm just doing it because I know at some point the right person will see that. Does that make sense? So, in week 5, when we go into ego and boundaries, what we then do is we really dismantle what your ego is to you, and we go through it person by person. We have group discussions, we go into breakout rooms and really discuss what people how they're struggling with their ego, what their ego is actually holding them back for, because that's the thing. Because in order to, if we get rid of that, if we lower our ego and we keep reducing the effect it has and the voices it has with us and the things it tells us we shouldn't do because of something of this and the beliefs it's sticking to, so that we can then have the most authentic life. And actually we can experience life on a deeper level. So when your child says, "Mummy, I don't love you," you go, "Oh, okay, how are you doing with that?" Not making someone else's feelings about you. That's the trick. And that's what happens is, so if he is feeling that, he's needing to test that. Okay, so before, ages ago, my little boy said, "I don't love you. I think I should have a new mummy." I was like, "Oh, wow, okay. What would she be like?" "What do you mean?" I said, "Okay, what would your new mummy be like? Can you imagine her? What would that be like?" He went, "Oh, you're not sad or cross?" I'm like, "No, was that your intention?" He went, "No." "Oh, thank you, mummy." And he just wanted to be, he was testing what he could say to me. He was testing what he could say. And he said, he was like, "What can I say to mummy to will she get sad? Will I make her sad?" And he said the worst thing he could say in his eyes to me was, "I don't love you." And I didn't take it personally. He went, "I do love you, mummy. You know that." I said, "Well, yeah, I do. But whether you love me or you don't, I always love you. You can be entitled to your feelings and I respect them." And he's only 4. He was 4 at the time. He's nearly 5. But that was a big deal for him to know that he could say what he wanted and it wasn't about me. Do you know what I mean? So the power of it means that people can be themselves with you as well, because you don't make it about you. Okay. The other way of going through life is to be affected by everybody's opinions of you and to constantly seek approval. And I've been there. My story a little bit was I was absolutely crippled with the fear of being judged, believe it or not. I would struggle so much. One of the reasons I became a Pilates instructor was because I thought, I haven't got the perfect body. I'm bloody good at teaching this. I'm really good at teaching. I'm really good at Pilates. I want to be a Pilates instructor because it saved my life, my back. But how do I do this? And I was literally there. They even said, I was in front of the mirrors, swearing like a pirate, crying my eyes out. And they said, "Do you really think this is the job for you?" I'm like, it is, because I'm good. But to go in front of my peers and be judged was the most terrifying thing in the world. So I had to work on it. And the freedom of just rocking up and doing it anyway, not caring what I was doing, but because I cared about the other people's experience, as in I wanted to do the best I could do to have my integrity intact. And whatever people are going to get from it is up to them. I can't make people show up here. I can't decide what people take from what I teach. I can only show up, and they can only show up and get what they want from that. Okay. So by not reducing your ego, you are doing yourself a massive disservice. That's all I can say. And you will to need other people to flatter you and to keep you in a happy mood, and for you to only be happy because of other people is not a way to live. So if you can be authentically you and integral, so a whole being, the difference is huge, because you can actually have full integrity, full happiness, and a full love of yourself and others. And you can actually be in this moment, whatever anyone else is thinking of you or at you, and whatever anyone else's emotions are, because you're not taking them on as your own. You're not saying, "Well, you feel that, therefore I feel this." You're saying, "You feel that, and I can hear you, I can see you." Yeah, but I'm validating you. Your emotions are all yours. They're not mine, and so therefore I can be with you. So, and if you're an empath, somebody who feels how people feel, it's so necessary for you to actually not be drained being around certain people. Because if you're an empath, you want to help people, but sometimes you can take their emotions on. So what do we do about it? Well, a really great exercise to do is observe yourself. Observe yourself and the things that you do and ask some critical questions. What do I want to do and why am I not? Okay, so let's take it back to the music. So you're driving down. Do you want to put your music on? Do you want to put whatever? I've got a little old Saab that has the roof can come down. So I crank my music up. And I've caught myself changing the tune before for thinking, oh my God, people are going to think I'm an idiot playing Spice Girls. And then I haven't. I've been authentic and it's felt better. Yeah. But when you change your behavior because of an opinion you think somebody might have of you, not good. So what would you do? Would you wear something different? You should see what I'm wearing today. I'm wearing this bright blue thing with a... Whoa, doing it again. Hang on. I'm wearing this bright blue thing here, right? With a red skirt. And I feel fucking amazing. I was wearing pink clogs as well. Seriously, pink clogs to go with it. And it makes me feel really happy. I'm in a really happy, vibey mood. And made me feel really happy. I didn't want to put contacts in because my eyes were a bit sore. And I haven't yet put some Snap on. And I'm still trotting down the road, quite happy as thing. Okay, so what would you do if no one was watching? You know, because that's authentic. How would you behave if nobody would see you? How would you be? Would you dance down the street? Then do it. Would you smile at people? Would you wear something different? Would you play a different thing? What would you do differently? And you can either look back at the last 24 hours and have a think, go through like a little movie, go through your actions, or you can observe yourself in the moment now. Just like over the next day, just observe what you do and think, if I was doing it just for me, would I have done it differently? If, did I stop myself because of what someone might have said? Did I change my behavior for fear of what somebody else might say? Am I worrying about how I am being perceived by others? And that's a really great indicator as to if your ego's showing up a lot. Am I being affected by other people? When people say something to me, is that really affecting my day? Is that worrying me? Is that playing on my mind? Am I allowing other people's opinions to change my opinion of me? If that's the case, okay, that's where you need to start. And I would say that's where to get additional, that will lead you to some more stories, and that could be where your intentions lie. So what I'd like to do if you've just rolled in, you've just turned up to number 5, go to week 1, set your intentions. Okay, we've got intentions and we've got your stories. We've got your mess. Yesterday we did your upper limits, and today it's about ego. So work through all of these things. See how you're going with those intentions. How much stuff are you able to free up in order to stick with those, hi there, in order to stick with those intentions, and how much more can you kind of get rid of in order to allow yourself to receive? Because those upper limits from yesterday, allowing to receive, are huge. So this is a little bite size into one of the biggest kind of, so say when we talk about egos and boundaries, that was probably one of the most ones we actually did a huge amount of group chat, because it's such a big subject and people view it so differently. So if all of these things are triggering you into thinking, Joe, I need to work more on this, literally drop me a message and I will send you a little link to a bit more about Life by Design. If you haven't done my free workshops and stuff, which go into it a bit more. But if this has given you an insight into where you need to start, I would absolutely implore you to take one of the 3 spaces we have left starting next week. Because this is a deep dive that you can do over and over again. It's all live, and we literally do hammer the heck out of this ego thing as well. So, and we create boundaries. And so, for example, when it comes to boundaries, it's like, for example, let's do it really simple for a personal one. So I wouldn't want to maybe be in a relationship with somebody who's a heavy drinker and a smoker. Personal choice. Now, I don't have a problem with people drinking heavily and smoking. I just wouldn't want to be in a relationship with them. That's my boundary. Am I offended by somebody drinking and smoking in the street? No. If somebody, so if somebody is drinking and smoking that isn't to do with me, none of my business. Even if somebody wanted to be that, so that's my ego is saying that's nothing to do with me. That's your life. If you come into my world, that's my boundaries. That I wouldn't. That wouldn't be something that I would want to go forth with. Does that make a bit of sense? Or having a boundary is having a line that doesn't want to be crossed, but knowing that I wouldn't want to affect or anyone else's behaviour, thoughts and feelings are nothing to do with me. So if somebody chooses to think those things, I can then choose whether to have it in my life. If somebody chooses to behave in a certain way, that's up to them. I can choose whether to have them in my world. Okay, so that's my, I'm not trying to control anyone, trying to decide what they do. What I'm saying is I get to choose what I do. And that's my boundary, if that makes sense. So listen, it is a big subject. I would invite you to look at yourself, because that's the only thing you can look at, and see how you are letting your opinions of other people's opinions affect your day, and notice it. And get in touch if you want to do more. Like I said, I'm still taking registrations. I've got another 3 spaces, got 3 little post-it notes that I've got yet to fill. The rest are all filled up with people, which is very exciting. And I would love to have you aboard if you think it's right for you. Anyway, Monday, we're going to go into your purpose. And that, if you want, will lead to something. I'm doing a little project to help people find, so I'm just going to sleep there. I'm doing a little 3-day mini project to help people find their purpose, which is really exciting. So I'm going to leave you now. Over the weekend, mull over these things, have a little replay of all these videos if you wish, and let me know how you get on. Do #replay and write what comes up. And like I say, go through day 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and I'll see you for day 6 on Monday. Much love from me to you.